do it live. We'll do it live at 7. I'm live. Gotta make sure. Okay. I'm live. So let us switch over to here. Let me know if anybody's in here. Get over here and say, I'm live on YouTube. Where's the link? There's a good question. Where's the dang link? Oh man, I didn't have the link ready. Oh wait, I can get the link from... Where can you get the link? Go to YouTube. Go to home. Go to my channel. Yeah, there we go. Ah, there we go. Here I am. Okay. Over there. Get back to here. And Twitter. And boom. Boom. And we'll cut and paste this sucker. All over creation. While I tell you about my week in the pregame show. Pregame show! Not a lot going on. I went to Pennsville Library. I don't think I talked to you guys since then. That was nice. The other day I went to Wynn's Brewery. That was yesterday. Also nice. Very chill. Interesting thing was someone... I don't have any book ones currently. I'm waiting on a shipment from Amazon. So a guy said, oh, I need to buy number 1. So he ran out to his phone and well, he had his phone. And he bought it, and then later it popped up on... today it popped up. It's a bit of a lag for those of you who use or are thinking about using Amazon for your books. Bit of a lag, about, let's say, almost 24 hours before it posted. So, which makes sense. Hi, as JC is here. So, did that. Working at Clownfish TV now, doing articles for them. I posted a link earlier. Got the Blue Rascal Distillery coming up next Sunday, which means I'll probably be later next week. Probably won't get things started until 8 or 9, depending. Might push it back till 9. I'm not sure how that's going to go. There's a lot of buzz on the Blue Rascal Distillery event, because they actually did some pretty decent advertising for it, and so I got mentioned on some radio station, and they put it on their website. So that bully for me. Other than that, not much going on. I'm working on a screenplay for a client, and we had a big meeting about it yesterday. That went pretty well. Made some changes. It's always good to check in, screenwriters, if you're screenwriters out there. If you're writing for a client, it's good to keep them in the loop, man. Because if they decide to make changes, boy, if he decided to make that change and I'm already in the 3rd act, I would have been like, oh no. So and it really helped me. So a lot of times clients, when they know what they want and they got a little bit of knowledge, they can really help facilitate the process of writing a screenplay or novel or whatever you're writing for them. It's the ones that kind of don't know and kind of don't know what the F they want. You know what they want? They want kudos. That's the only thing they want. I wrote for this guy, nice enough guy, but he just didn't get it, and I kept telling him over and over again, no, your book has to be a certain way. It has to present, and he was so stubborn. And then he just got frustrated with me, and I got frustrated with him, quite frankly, and it didn't end well. It didn't end well. I mean, I sent him the files, so the book was almost done, so he could have fixed it. I don't know what he expected, really. A lot of people think they know the English language and they can write, and it's more to it than that. You really got to understand a lot of things. But let's not get into my problems. Let's get into movies. Movies, Joan. Movies, Joan. It's a rainy day. Doggy is not happy about a rainy day. Yeah, weird weather. Weird January weather. Here we are, January 22nd. Knock on wood. Still going to be like 50 degrees this week in South Jersey. I don't know where it is, what it's like near you guys, but we are experiencing unseasonably warm winter. Very much so. So, normally January, it'd be bitter cold here. Snow on the ground. When I was a kid, certainly. Oh my God, when I was a kid, and this is your global warming update, when I was a kid in the 70s, we'd have snow on the ground sometimes late October all the way into March. It never melted away. It never got warm enough for it to melt. JC, I love trying to explain to clients what they've written isn't actually a story. JC, we got a bit of snow here today. Where are you, JC? You're in Canada, right? I think you're in Canada. Yeah, client work is crazy work sometimes. But yeah, it would be on the ground, solid, from the time it snowed until March, early March, and then it would melt. But, you know, it was, I remember as a kid, like, going outside building snow forts. They would freeze, and they'd be there for months. Not weeks, months. They'd be there. I'd build a snow fort in, like, late November, and the damn thing would freeze, and it would be there forever. And sometimes you'd forget and kind of dive over it or into it, and the thing would be like, oh my God, this thing's hard as a rock. But now, and I'm not complaining, no snow at all. Like, I think we got a dusting right around Christmas, and that was it. We're not going to get any snow at least in the next 10 days. I checked the weather. It's not even going below 40. It's crazy. It's going to be 40 to 50 this week in January. Late January we're in now. Once we get to February, forget it. It's over. It's just about over now. Because, man, 2 years ago, we hit a 72 degree day early February. I put on shorts because I was so happy. It was hot. JC, it's been warmer lately this year. I love it. Can't lock us down over the flu if there isn't a flu season. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing about the certain medical thing. Apparently it destroyed the flu. Uh-huh. Yeah. I won't go in there. I won't go there. Damn it. Damn it, YouTube. Why can't you free my speech? Why can't you let us speak? I'll speak on another platform. Oh, there's Carter Chain. I only remember good packing snow and a handful of years in my life. I live in Michigan. Maybe Greta is right. LOL. Well, everything runs in cycles here on planet Earth, Martians. And it, yeah, I mean, you get times where it's unseasonably warm, unseasonably cool. You know, back in the 70s, no lie, they were telling us about the Ice Age. I remember that well. It was Ice Age first. That was like, I just barely remember being in school and being taught, oh yeah, the Ice Age is coming. Oh, we're getting colder and colder winters. The Ice Age is coming. And we were like, oh, okay. School days. Yeah. Then they went right to acid rain. That was big for a few years. JC, last year was cold as hell. It was, here it was, there were a couple of days it was freezing, like absolutely freezing. And it wasn't warm like it has been fairly consistently most of the year. But we would have cold and hot, cold and hot, cold and hot. So we'd have 3 days where it would just be sub-zero temperatures, it'd be freezing. And then nothing. And then it would like be 40 and everything would melt. And we got very little snow last year, if I'm recalling correctly. I think we had 2 or 3 days of snow last year. So, from acid rain, we went to overpopulation. That became a thing. This is all through my school, grammar school, and the high school. And then by high school, I don't really remember a lot of recycling was big. Yeah, recycling. 90s or maybe it was the 2000s. They were talking about running out of water. That was a thing. Oh, peak oil was in there somewhere. You know, and Razor Fist, Razor Fist had a great video where he goes all the way back to like the late 1800s where they were talking about peak oil and environmental crap. JEC, Southern Ontario, we had super cold weather from end of December through March. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it used to be here. Not for a long time, but Southern Ontario, that just sounds cold. My friend who lives in Jersey, who's Canadian, he laughs at the cold here. Yeah, and I briefly dated a woman from Toronto, or she lived in Toronto. I know, my Canadian girlfriend, right? And she used to tell me how you Canucks have like these super insulated like winter clothes. They're real thin, but they're really warm, kind of thing. And I don't know. When I was dating her, this was like, I guess it was sometime in the 2000s. She was telling me how it dropped to like negative 67 up there. Whew. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll stay here. Like, Southern Jersey has always been great for like seasons. You know, we have all the seasons. It's supposed to snow in the winter. It's supposed to be hot in the summer, and you know, yeah, spring and fall. These days it's weird. Like, it just feels like right now it feels like early fall here. It's been early fall for months. The leaves are off the trees, and it's just rainy and not warm, but it's way warmer than it should be. Everything's damp. JC, I just wear lots of layers. Yeah. Yeah. But I think you guys developed space age Canuck technology to keep warm. I mean, you would. Evolution would push you in that direction. And apparently, communism, for some reason, I don't know why. Oh, Justin Trudeau. Oh, yeah. But without slipping into politics, let's get into what you guys are here for. We have to know the box office. The box office. It's, well, first, the big news. Avatar has done it. It has cracked 2 billion worldwide. JC, we have coats, yeah. Avatar has done it. Has done it. 2 billion worldwide. I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't. But, you know, as you can see, it's mostly international. And if you look at the international breakdown, they should be kissing China's butt for a long, long time. At China, we're up to 233 million. And this bodes well for Disney's upcoming releases. They are going to release Wakanda Forever in China. So that will probably push it over 1 billion. Because, Avatar did 233. I think Wakanda Forever could easily do 200 million. In China, yeah, it's gonna crack 1 billion. What else? Ant-Man 3, that's probably gonna do better than it has a reason to be. I like Ant-Man. I know I'm kind of out there by myself on that, but I'm on the fence about the current movie. I mean, I want it to be good. It has all the elements. I do like the characters. I like the actors. Carter Chain. James Cameron 1, Tony 0. Thank you. If he hadn't gotten China, there'd be no way he could do this. Be no way. It would be over. Not only did he get it in China, it's an extended release in China because this isn't even. I think it'll probably do close to twice this because a lot of places were shut down and people were all screwed up over this. I think they keep it an extended release for 2 months. They'll probably do at least another 200 million, at least. JC, Chinese don't like people from Wakanda. That is true. But they do like Marvel movies. Arden, what's up? Hi, Arden. How you doing? Um, Talking about box office. Arden liked Ant-Man too. Well, good for you. Cocaine Bear is going to surpass Avatar. Easy. I hope so, Carter. Stormy Eyes is here. 1981. Evening, Tony. Evening to you. We are into Avatar here. Avatar at 2 billion. 2 billion. Mm-mm-mm. I just, I don't know why people want to see this movie. I mean, it really is Dances with Smurfs, but I guess people just really like to see, I don't know, images on a screen. I think that's what it boils down to. Yeah, it just, I think people just like event movies. They like stuff to do, and I guess that's why. Or they just don't read. They read so little that I think even the most basic stories kind of appeal to them. I have relatives who are like that. They just say, "Oh, I don't read." And I just go, I think, you don't read, but like I'm a writer. I feel like I don't read enough, and that I mean, I don't feel like I'm well read. I've read some things, but God, when people just fall for the basic stories, I just think, why? How? You know, how does a movie like Avatar just explode and, like, I don't know, John Carter from Mars just die? It just seems weird, right? I don't know. I'm not defending John Carter from Mars, but it just seems weird. I haven't seen it. Carter, I was told by multiple people that Avatar was the best movie they had ever seen. I can't figure it out early. Wow. Ardent, agreed. I have no interest in watching James Cameron try to remove all the testosterone from his own films. Is that what he did? Now I've heard it's actually kind of a father-son story, and it's not too bad. It's just, I mean, the thing's 3 hours. I'm not sitting through that anymore. There's only one movie I think I sat through that was that long, and that was Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, which just moves, man. Unbelievably, it moves. Really well directed if you haven't seen it, because it's like Hamlet set in Tsarist Russia. Yeah, and it's got that French actor. Oh, I want to say Perdue is his last name, Jean-Pierre Perdue, whatever the hell his name is. But man, that movie moves, and I sat in the theaters for that, and I got out and I was like, wow, that was 3 hours. But Critical Drinker says this movie sags in the middle, and like, to hear anybody say that, there's no way I'm seeing this thing. Unless you cut out the middle for me, and maybe I'll watch it, but JC, you love Godfather 1 and 2. I do. Those move pretty good too. You know, there's action in those. And a lot of stuff happens. They got good endings. I love the ending to 2. Oh. Ardent. I was referencing that Cameron has said testosterone is a toxin that men should attempt to remove from themselves. Yeah, I read that too. I'm not so sure he did it in this movie. Maybe he's just paying lip service to the woke in an attempt to, like, get more attention for himself, but the dangerous game he's playing, as we saw with Jeremy Clarkson, who finally made the big mistake. Finally made the big mistake and apologized. Apologized to the woke for nothing. Boy, talk about the wrong thing to apologize. I mean, it'd be one thing if he dropped the N-bomb somewhere, but he, he compares Meghan Markle to Queen Cersei in the shame scene in Game of Thrones, and he's got to apologize. That's like, it's a solid rip. I mean, it's not a very funny joke because it's so obvious, but it's a solid rip. So, I don't know. But, yeah, so, gotta hand it to James Cameron. I mean, and Disney for getting back in the good graces of, wait, no, is this Disney? Is Avatar Disney? Or whoever. For getting in the back good graces of China. Although China really, I mean, that's only 250, so the rest of the world seems to like it too. I mean, they love our big movies. They love them. Puss in Boots, surprising at number 2 with 11 million. Still hanging in there, doing well. I think that's money. 284. That sounds like money to me. I could watch this. I like cartoons, and this character isn't horrible. I haven't seen any of the movies, but if I had to watch it, I would probably be okay with it. Megan dropped to 3, which I'm kind of surprised because this seemed to be doing well, but still hanging in there. 112 million. They already got a sequel in the pipeline. Ardent, Clarkson should be dropping more lefts. Dropping more lefts. Like dropping more like lefties. I don't know. He's fighting back now. I saw an article today. Oh, Jeremy Clarkson fighting back against the woke. Too late. Too late. He blew it. He had his chance and he blew it. But, yeah, it's Megan thing. Stormy Eyes, 1981. I love Puss in Boots. It looks fine. I don't mind the Banderas. Ardent, I have a few friends who said that Puss in Boots is actually good. I'm sure it is. I mean, like, you got to figure, it's a swashbuckling cat, and it's wacky, and Antonio Banderas is doing, like when you do a role like this, you don't want it to be completely goofy. You want the character to think he's serious, and I think that's the way he's playing it. Number 4, Missing. Solid open, I guess, for this kind of movie. I think it's a low budgeter. I mean, for Hollywood. So, 9.3. I don't know. I probably wouldn't go see it, but it's okay for now. JC, Puss in Boots is good if you have kids. Only kids movie out right now, so it's hanging in there. Yeah, looks that way. Looks that way. Number 4, A Man Called Otto. People tell me the original is really good. 43 million? Is that money? I don't think so. I can't see a Tom Hanks film costing less than that. Unless he really took a pay cut. But maybe this is money down the road. I don't know. 9 million? I guess it's not awful. Ardent, he punched some producer staffer before BBC dropped him. Clarkson. Did he? Did he really do that, or you're joking? Or is that like from his Top Gear days? Number 6 is Plane. Plane looked good. Plane looks like my kind of movie. And I like Power Man in this. Gerard Butler, I'm kind of getting tired of. He seems to play the same damn role. Ooh, it's not doing well internationally. 12 million. I think that's after how many weeks? 2 weeks? It's not great. It's not great. Should be doing better. Might not be that good. House Party. I'm surprised this movie did so terrible too. It's not doing well. 5 million. I mean, it's got nowhere to go. But at least it's a comedy. It's only in 1,400 theaters. Carter, no, he did, which is why he got dropped from Top Gear. Oh, okay. Yeah, you think a guy would punch a staffer wouldn't apologize for a joke in an article. If you're willing to punch someone, I think you should hold your ground in terms of your jokes. House Party, I gotta say, looked okay. Because at least they were making fun of LeBron James a little bit. And, it's just an updated version of the original House Party, which I think I saw, which wasn't bad. It was watchable. Ardent, just saw Black Adam last night. Not great, definitely not as bad as it could have been, but lots of cannon breaking Yeah, Top Gear. Um, hmm. Yeah, I went back and forth about watching and reviewing Black Adam, and now I just kind of don't care. Now, it's kind of hard to care about a movie that's set in a DC universe when they're in the middle of resetting it, which is, I get why they're doing it, and I think they mostly should, but, you know, part of the problem, I guess, with dealing with all these properties and egos, man, sounds like Dwayne Johnson was finally running out of control. Everything I was reading was like, oh yeah, Dwayne Johnson insists his tequila be served during the premiere, and there was a tequila bar, and they didn't want that, but he made a big stink, and then he made a big stink about this, and then he went in and met with Zaslav behind everybody's back, and so it sounded like he was pushing his luck, and it finally caught up to him. Amazingly, for a while, man, Dwayne Johnson, I just never understood it. They adored him in the studios, absolutely adored him. Kept putting him in movies that I thought he had no business. I mean, Get Smart. I just didn't get it. I didn't know why he was in Get Smart. I don't know why. Well, I kind of knew why they remade it with Steve Carell. Steve Carell at the time, funny guy. And you thought, like, okay, they're going to make it Get Smart, and it'll actually be funny because Steve Carell is in it. I said Carell. Carell. Steve Carell, I thought, could pull it off. And then the take and the tone was, like, so horrible. It was like, oh, we're going to try to make this real. Like, real? Get Smart? Did you watch the show? It was like Airplane for its time. It's hilarious. Oh, we're going to try to make Max a real intelligence guy? Like, what? What? The dumbest take on a still one of the funniest series ever. I love that show. I love Get Smart. Ardent, Dwayne Johnson is looking old. Is he? I mean, he's still all muscled out. I mean, I would cast him and stuff, but, he's just not that good of an actor. He should be in very specific roles. Like, if he's in an ensemble cast where he plays the muscle, sure. Like, he could play a goon. He could play, maybe an avenging guy, like he did in that muscle car movie. That wasn't bad. It was watchable. Maybe he plays a role in like a movie like The Mummy, like The Scorpion King. I didn't think it was good, but it at least seemed appropriate for him. Now, like, what are you going to do with a guy like him? Without his muscles, I don't think he was good in Pain and Gain. He was kind of funny in that. But I don't know what you do with a guy like him. It's like they just kept putting him in everything. Now they've got Cena and Batista. And Bautista is like making the transition to serious actor or something. Stormy Eyes 1981, definitely looking old. Ardent parody. Ardent, Get Smart, old one is classic. Oh my God. Don Adams had such great timing. Ardent Roids, he's bigger now than he was when he was first wrestling. That is true. That is true. And he's just, all veiny, But they kept putting him in these, like, the earthquake movie or the fire movie and the disaster movie, and they just, Drive Hard. Drive Hard. Which one was that? I don't remember that one. Do you mean Die Hard, or did you just spell it wrong? He could be in Die Hard, I guess. If they remade Die Hard, yeah, I guess he could. He could probably do Cop, I guess. He's done it before with so-so results. I don't know. If I had to put him in a show, Ardent, Bautista's new trailer looks interesting for the Cabin in the Woods thing. I don't know, man. What's his face? M. Night Shyamalan. I feel like he's lost the thread or something. Stormy Eyes, Cena is horrendous in movies. People like him in the Peacemaker, and that seems to be about it. I don't think I've seen him in a movie. I kind of just annoyed by him after his whole China fiasco. I'm just, and it's so, isn't it so funny how Hollywood J.C. Southland Tales. Oh yeah, that movie bombed. That effing bombed. Um, the Hollywood got into this role of like, oh, let's take wrestlers and make them into movie stars, and so they did it with the Rock, and that I guess that worked out well, you would say, and then now they're trying it with two other guys. I'm like waiting for them to recruit, I don't know, Cactus Jack. Where's his movie career? I'd watch him. Ardent, Cena is worse than Wahlberg. I think Drive Hard was a muscle car vengeance movie with The Rock. Oh, that's what it was called. Okay. Yeah, he was all right in that, I thought. Worse than Wahlberg? I don't know. Mark Wahlberg isn't bad. Again, in the right role. Like, I liked them in they did this heist movie. Oh, God. It takes place in South America. At one point, somebody uses masking tape for their mask. It's pretty funny. Stuff with lighter fare. I like him with Will Ferrell in that cop movie, that ridiculous cop movie. That was okay. J.C. Mick Foley, he's too broken down to be an action star. That's what I like about him. I like that he's broken because he could play the old grizzled guy who's got to come back for one last time. I don't know about his moves though. Yeah, he's pretty banged up from what I understand. Ardent, they tried it with Hulk Hogan years ago. Yeah, but like with Hulk Hogan, I think they tried to not make him a movie star and more just take Hulk Hogan and put him on screen. Whereas the other guys, they're trying to make them into more movie stars. But yeah, they did try it with the Hulk because he was so insanely popular at that time. I don't know. These guys, they listen to their agents, and their agents are so weird because they come up with these ideas of doing like, oh, we got to do something different. Let's do a kids movie or something, and it's just like, what? It's like when Ice-T, or not Ice-T, Ice Cube did kids movies, and I just thought, why would he do this? What? Who in Hollywood is like, oh yeah, let's put Ice-T in a kids movie, or Ice Cube in a kids movie? It made no sense. JC, Mick Foley can barely get up a flight of stairs. Is he that bad now? I saw him a few years ago. Seemed like he could walk. Ardent, yeah, Mick is a great mentor character. Yeah, he's a bit woke now though. I'm sad to say. He came out with some statement one time. I don't know, something about the pandemic or whatever. I was just like, oh man, why do these guys have to keep opening their mouths? Why can't they just, I don't know. He was trying stand-up career, I think, for a while. So he could do a comedy, Something that premiered that time. I got reincarnated as slime. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, it's a Crunchyroll thing, so it's anime. Man, how desperate you got to be to run anime in your theater. You got to be pretty damn desperate. Ardent, pretty sure Hogan's agent was smoking crack when he agreed to do Mr. Nanny. Yeah, and was it Dwayne the Rock Johnson that did the Tooth Fairy movie? Stormy Eyes. Oh my God, are we there yet with the worst thing ever? Yeah, that was the Ice Cube movie, right? Yeah, that looked horrible. JC, mix a big bleeding heart mark. He means well. Yeah, I met him in person at the Pittsburgh show, and what impressed me about him is he was one of the few wrestlers that didn't charge for his autograph. He's like, I don't need that money. I'm just here for the fans, and I thought that was nice. Carter, Steven Seagal will always be the best action star. Ardent, LOL. I'll tell you, the greatest TV show ever with Steven Seagal is that reality show where he's in the sheriff's department. If you haven't seen that, oh man, don't wear a good pair of pants when you watch it because you'll pee yourself laughing. Because it's just like Steven Seagal going along for the ride, and then they pull some, I don't know, meth head over or something, and then Steven Seagal just providing commentary the whole time, and it's just amazing because it's very clear to me, ain't no way he does this outside that show. It's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, Yeah, it looks like he's got some meth. All right, I see you got some meth here. Like the other cops doing all the work, and then Steven Seagal's just sort of repeating what he's doing and kind of going along with it, like he's in charge. It's the absolute best. Ardent, sorry Carter, I can't take Seagal seriously at all. And Bruce Lee, greatest action star, fight me. Just kidding. Greatest action star. Well, Bruce Lee is up there. I mean, when you talk action, you talk martial arts, yeah, sure. There's plenty of guys in that role that, you know. But I like, I mean, still an action star to some degree, Jason Statham. I think he became like the action star for a while, and I think he's really good. I think he's got the moves. He's got a good balance. Like he can act well enough, and he's got the moves. He's in decent enough shape, and yeah, I liked him in a lot of movies. Ardent, the sheriff one, oh god, it was horrible. I never laughed harder. At Steven Seagal, man. Oh god, when he would pull people over and pretend to be a sheriff. Funniest damn thing. Because the thing with Seagal too, it's like it's not an act. Like he is dead serious. He is dead serious and trying his hardest to sell that sheriff thing. He's not goofing around. He is trying to convince you he's in that sheriff's department. I don't believe it for a second. Carter, I don't remember Bruce Lee sparring with Putin. Who sparred with Putin? So Black Panther number 7 or number 9, still hanging in there. The Whale. What's a whale doing? I don't think this movie's making money. I think they're waiting for the Oscar drop, and then they'll give it another push. I mean, 10 million. I don't think that's money. The Whitney Houston movie, I think maybe that's break even. 53 million. I don't know. I doubt it. Ardent, all around action star. Statham is good. Yeah, I think Chris Pratt has the chops to be that good one day. Yeah, he hasn't done like I don't know, the action movie I'm waiting for. You know, he's shooting action star as opposed to the guy who punches people. So when I think action, I think less shooty, more punchy, or a good mix. But yeah, he's solid though. He's solid. Skinamarink from IFC. I don't know what that is. The Fablemans, again, another more Oscar bait that I think they're just waiting for a re-release. It's done 20 million. There ain't no way that costs less than 20 million. No effing way. Ardent, LOL, Seagal taught Anderson Silva his kick. What do you want? What? You have to get up? Come here. This one, overdue for grooming. Carter, Tony, did you ever see Steven Seagal training a sheriff's department on school shooting response? Last Seagal comment, I promise. LOL. No, but that sounds amazing. That sounds absolutely amazing. Because I'm sure he's very serious about it. You know, when I was shooting Under Siege, everybody's looking at him like, what? What does that have to do with anything? You were on a movie. Talking about a school shooting response. Oh, God. Women Talking. This movie's finally getting some play. I saw commercials for it. And initially I saw the trailer and I just thought, God, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen. And then it's called Women Talking? I mean, who the hell's going to go see this thing? It hasn't even cracked 1 million. I don't know. More, maybe an Oscar thing? Babylon. Still in theaters. Still in 289 theaters. 28 million. That bombed. Broker. Don't know that one. When You Finish Saving the World. I think I did the trailer on this one. Oof. Oofa. Finn Wolfhard and Julianne Moore. Teen Angst movie. 140K. Oof. 400 theaters. Ardent. Was it Uvalde? I doubt it. because I think that show has been off the air a while. The Menu did well. Devil Conspiracy, Banshees of Inisherin. Rooting for you guys. Yeah, 27 million. I don't know. Maybe. Tar. Really just, yeah, 7 million. Might catch a relaunch on the Oscar thing. EO, Strange World. Strange World, still in theaters. Still in 170 theaters. Corsage, St. Omer, No Bears, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Empire of Light. Oof, this movie sank like a rock. Ugh, $3 million. Holy F. That's gotta be a bomb. That had to have bombed. There ain't no way that cost less than $3 million to make. It probably cost an S-ton. It takes place in the 80s. It's a love letter to movies. I bet that cost a ton of money. Oof. Oof. Yeah. And they tried to make that English actress, what's her name, the next big thing, and she has caught it at the wrong time. They're putting her out there right at the wrong time. When movies are going to hell, it's a bad time to be trying to start your movie career, or your movie star career, I should say. Not movie career. She had a movie career, but man, no one's a movie star anymore. Who's new? Who's new? Chris Pratt is like the newest movie star. I think that's the end of the list. Everybody after him, is any of them a star? Maybe some, you could point to a hot chick, but you know, hot chicks, they're hot for a while. Ana de Armas. Talk to me when she's not hot anymore. See how people are going to her movies. That's the problem. It's unfair, but it's true. But she's pretty good. I think the whole Marilyn Monroe movie, yeah, that kind of hurt her. Because, man, that was going to be big, but it was not big. Oh, no. It was not big at all. Here's something I know you guys would love to talk about. Velma. And there was an article in Forbes, and Yellow Flash pointed this out, so I'm basically going over what he already did in his videos. But he's made like 9 videos on this damn show. It's now the 3rd worst rated TV show in IMDb history, which is fairly impressive when you think about it. JC, even Margot Robbie, Wolf of Wall Street, was 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, she looks like she's done, man. Ooh. She's still smoking, though. She's still smoking hot. She's still got a good 5 to 10 years. Ardent, Taylor Kish is my favorite almost action star. I don't know if I know that person. Yeah, Margot Robbie, I don't know if she actually made it to movie star level. Because, like, all her big movies are kind of terrible, except for Wolf of Wall Street and a couple others maybe. But, I mean, God, the Harley Quinn movies are god-awful. Except for the Suicide Squad. The last one was pretty good. I thought it was decent. It was the first time you got to see actual Harley Quinn. Ardent, too high. Too high. JC, Margot is approaching the wall. Yeah. Yeah. But she's Aussie. And she'll just go back to Australia with her money. People in Australia, I think, they're still kind of very grounded in general, even their celebrities. I could see her, like, just being in movies in Australia. She won't give an F. JC, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Wasn't it that big, though? I don't know. I mean, they definitely touted it at the time, but like, the movie itself did okay, and really they talked more about Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt in that movie than her. I mean, she was in it, and Brad Pitt kind of steals the show in that movie, I think, in that scene where he avenges the Tates, which is my favorite scene in the movie because I didn't see it coming. But so this is the TV series rating count, the least 5,000 the most horrible TV shows rated on the IMDb. And again, Yellow Flash found this list. I think he found it from the Forbes article because there was a link from it. So at the bottom, at 1.1 stars, JC, I'm not going to pay to see Margot Robbie, but I don't mind her showing up. I was psyched to go see Amsterdam, but yeah, I don't know. She needs, I don't know, the Barbie movie might help her, but I don't know what she needs in her career. She needs like an acting role, like something she could sink her teeth in. I have a screenplay she'd be great for, a vampire screenplay. She'd be great in it. Ardent, Kish was in Friday Night Lights, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Gambit, John Carter, and played Chris Pratt's sidekick in The Terminal List. Oh yeah, he's pretty good. He's not bad. I don't know about action. I guess I haven't seen enough of his action yet. X-Men Origins Wolverine, Gambit. So something called the Pogmentary. It was about a world-class French footballer. And apparently it was panned because everybody hates this player. According to Yellow Flash JC, she already did the Tina Hardy movie. She was good in that. Oh, the ice skater movie. What the hell was her name? Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that did look good. I didn't see it. Nancy Kerrigan and the other woman she plays. Can't think of it. Yeah, that was pretty good. She needs like a big role. I mean, she just needs like a lead where the movie doesn't just suck. She just needs that. She needs like Sigourney Weaver type movie. She needs like an Aliens, something like that, to like put her in that category of actress where she's not just a pretty face. JC, she's already did the I read that one already. Number 2 is the second worst TV show. Istaboombemin Masaleme. I don't know what this is. It's a rise of a 17-year-old star who had strong feelings, and I don't know. I'm assuming this is some sort of Indian production. Ardent, Tanya Harding. That's it. God, I couldn't think of her name. And then number 3 is Velma. Isn't that amazing? Velma is only the 3rd worst show ever produced, according to the IMDb. Wow. It's really something else. And I think they have a shot at going lower. Because the episodes aren't all out yet. And it seems like every episode that comes out, it gets worse. So this weekend, or this week, we'll see. It may go lower. It may hit rock bottom. And I hope it does. I hope it does. This show was horrific. And I don't know who's defending it. Other than woke morons who probably haven't even seen it. But it's brutal. It's a brutal show. Ardent, Cuties not being the worst makes me sick. Yeah, no, that one's going to be defended by, But the list is very interesting. Number 4 is A Little Late Night with Lily Singh, which was terrible. Remember that show came out? Oh, man. Carter, it's people hate watching Velma. Me and my friend sure did. Oh, man, after that first one, I didn't even want to hate watch it. I didn't even realize Dennis was the voice of Fred until later. And finally somebody said his name, and I'm like, oh, it's Dennis. That makes me sad, because I really do love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And but the cast on that show is fairly woke. I know, it's weird, right? The cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a show that's basically designed to be politically incorrect. They're pretty woke. Not super woke, but woke and too woke in my view. Ardent, never hate watch it, only encourages them to continue making anti-white content. I say, I hope they make a season 2 of Velma. What I want to see, I want them to be so wounded by doing this that there's no one else to blame, right? So I want to see Velma season 2, and I want to see people up in arms boycotting boycotting Warner Brothers just over that. That's what I want to see. I want to see the same thing for Disney, of course. Disney more so than Warner Brothers, but they need to be so punished. And I think you would think Zaslav would have canceled this mess, but who knows? Sometimes you sign a contract, and this is true. It costs you more to cancel a show than keep it on. The rumor was at DC Comics, they kept publishing Wonder Woman because there was a clause in the creator's original contract that they would have to make a huge payout to the estate of Wonder Woman if they ever ceased publication. And I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what I've heard on multiple people in the DC organization, so I think it's pretty true. I'm not sure what kind of clause that is, but which is why they kept, for a long time, they would just cancel it and then immediately start up with Wonder Woman #1 again and with a new art team or whatever, which is a shame because I think Wonder Woman could work. There's been a couple of times where it's almost worked in DC. I mean, besides the beginning when they first introduced the character, but give it to me. I'll fix it. So yeah, a little late with Lily Singh. This show was brutally bad, just awful, and it just shows you how just because you have a good YouTube show doesn't mean you're a late night talk show host at all. Like, you kind of got to know it a little bit. There is a format to it, and plus late night is dead anyway, but oof. The problem I saw with that show is it looked like Lily listened to the producers, and that's a bad idea in that case, because what made her popular, they didn't put on that show, I don't think. Not really, you know. And I never thought she was all that talented anyway. She wasn't an interviewer, certainly. You need someone with a little bit of ability to push back and interview people, and because what the hell is the damn show for anyway? Arnett, the guy who created Wonder Woman, had a thing for bondage and threesomes. That's what they say. I don't know how true that is, or whether or not it was in the comic because she had a lasso. Maybe. I mean, I guess. JC, I don't think Wonder Woman works. She's a hodgepodge of old pulp tropes that haven't aged well. All right, I'll give you my pitch for Wonder Woman. I would make Wonder Woman, and they kind of did this in the comics, but they never really made it work. But I would do Wonder Woman as sort of the supernatural defender, right? Like, she takes care of all the, like, Superman does the space stuff, Batman does the crime stuff, Aquaman takes care of the oceans, or Green Lantern does the space stuff, Superman does, I don't know, the world stuff, and then Wonder Woman does the supernatural stuff. She's like the bruiser when it comes to supernatural stuff. So I would put her up against, I would just pull out all the classic monsters, and then start doing some stuff with like Medusa and or the Gorgon sisters, bring them back, all those kinds of classic creatures, and then other ones from myth. I mean, look, I do the Pineys, and I do a very similar thing, but I think it could work with Wonder Woman if you kept her in the supernatural realm. You'd have to dump the stupid invisible jet. John Byrne had a take on that, but I think that's just dumb. But I think you could make it work from a functional standpoint in a comic, you know, because when you do the supernatural stuff, you can sort of break the rules. You don't have to worry about power levels and stuff like that, and I think it could be fun. I'd also I'd add the element of the Eternal Warrior, where she was alive for, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years, and so you could do these great callbacks to previous ages of Wonder Woman. They've sort of done some of this stuff, but I think they need to really like really go all in on it, and they never had. JC, I would turn Wonder Woman into a glorified titty mag. Need the right artist that can draw that sort of thing well. Oh yeah, I would get, a Dave Stevens type guy to draw her, and I also would make her. You know who I'd make her like? I had a character in my own comic called Barbara the Barbarian, and Barbara would fight topless in the arena to distract her foes. I would make her like that. Like, she didn't give an F. She is an old school warrior using every tactic to beat her foes. And so she just doesn't care. But she's hot as hell and always has been and always will be because she's immortal, I guess. And then, yeah, she just, if her uniform gets torn off in a battle, she doesn't miss a beat. She doesn't get embarrassed. She just keeps fighting. I'd get Frank Cho, says JC. That would be a good choice if he'd be willing to do it. I kind of think. I don't know. I don't want to go into my thoughts on Frank Cho. Ardent, I really like the way that Gal Gadot Wonder Woman smiled after she got smacked across creation by Doomsday. Yeah, something like that. She doesn't give an F. Like, she just goes hard into the paint and just stabs people. And but I don't know, they wouldn't give me the keys to Wonder Woman, not even on my best day. Santa Inc. is number 5, of course. There's another one I'm surprised didn't make it to the bottom. I don't know who defended this. Ardent, wasn't there a French noblewoman who used to do that fight topless? Was there? Oh, that's kind of cool. I just thought I made it up. Yeah, this Santa Inc. It was just as bad as Velma. It's right in that same niche of comedy. JC, Frank Cho would do covers. You'd have to catch him Loke 10 or 15 years ago to get him to do pages. Oh, that's true. I would get a new guy. There's plenty of guys that draw hot chicks. I'd get a team of guys. That would be my goal. Here's the problem with DC and Marvel, and they haven't figured this out yet, but I figured it out a few years ago when I started doing webcomics. The best thing to do is not allow the reader to get too used to one art style. You want a team of guys, and you want them on an art style that they all ape. And if you lose one of them, you don't miss a beat. That's part of the problem. You don't want to tie in too much to one artist, I think. Maybe your big names like Frank Cho or whatever for covers, but I think you get a team of guys. You go back to the old days of having a room full of guys just cranking out pages in a style that is relatively consistent across all the books, and then you're fine. Yeah, Julie, I can't say that last name. Is she an artist? Oh, that was the name of the woman who fought topless. Oh, okay. So yeah, this Santa Inc. F Santa Inc. Something called Final Draft, which is the name of a screenwriting software. Wow, that got low ratings. Seems to be a lot of Indian names too. I guess they just didn't like it. JEC, these guys who draw hot chicks, and then there's guys whose drawings of hot chicks sells books. That's true. Here's one of my favorite entries on the top 10 worst shows imaginable. The View. That's another one that this should be number 1. It should be number 1. It's so terrible. I think it's poison to the mind. And yet, here it is on the IMDb. It's been going since 1997, if you can believe it. Number 8, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Yeah, this belongs low. Terrible show. Ardent, Dopini. Dopini. Oh, you're telling me how to pronounce it. Thank you. Number 9, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Also terrible. Number 10, I don't know that show. Rashbari. Number 11 is Ben 10, which I was kind of surprised at. It got such a low rating. Was that show terrible? I thought it was okay-ish. I was surprised it ended up on this list. I'm not going to go through all of these, but a few more, because some of them are funny. Number 12, Mind of Mencia. Yes. Yes. Carla Mencia is not good, in my view. Something called Chad. I don't know. It's a Persian show. 14, The Bachelor. Yes. It's been on since 2002. It's been on for 20 years. It's in the top 15 worst shows of all time on the IMDb. And yet, it's been on for over 20 years. Number 15, your favorite, Batwoman. A show that never should have been renewed. Definitely belongs in the top 10. I don't think it's a worse show as compared to Velma. I think Velma's much worse. JC, they keep bringing up Ben 10 back for a sequel series. Yeah, I guess that must have been a terrible one, but I just thought it was weird and ended up on this list. Number 16, The Bold and the Beautiful. It's been on since 1987. How does it get rated this low? I guess it just, over the years, they just accumulate bad reviews. It drives the rating down. Number 17, I remember this being talked about as being one of the worst shows, is House of Pain with Alan Payne. Just terrible. Number 18, The Bachelorette. Just as bad a show. Another show that's been on 20 years. Look at the low rating. And I'll just skip a few. Number 22 was The Jersey Shore. Yes, this is in my horrible show list. Oh, yeah, it does not portray people at the Jersey Shore. You know what this was, for those of you who don't know? The Jersey Shore was New York and North Jersey a-holes going to the summer house. And that's what we hated this show in South Jersey. Absolutely hated it. Because it gave people the absolute wrong impression. And thank God it's gone. Barney and Friends, again, it's like a kid. It shouldn't even be on this list. And Teletubbies, like, it shouldn't even be in the running. It's meant to be for kids. Ardent, Batwoman, poor ass. Yeah, talk about a glutton for punishment. He watched a ton of that. Bill Nye Saves the World. Yeah, he sucks. I can't stand him now. I kind of tolerated him before. Stargate Origins? Surprised that made the list, but I guess this is the worst of the Stargate shows. Ardent, House of Pain, trash. Sandwiched between layers of trash. On fire. Like, some of these are Indian and Persian shows. Like, you should start a separate list, I think. Bleach Demon is here. Bill Nye should be fired into the sun. The Simple Life, yeah, that belongs on there. Resident Evil, which show? Dora the Explorer. American Idol, yes. That's still on? 20 years? I hate that show. I hate American Idol. I hate it. Hate everything about it. Wild Man Beyond, welcome. Thoughts on Cobra Kai ending? It's about time. I mean, look, they had a great run. It's a good show. You know, it only was going to last so long. They usually go a little too long, and it's probably been actually a little too long. But you know, hopefully they go out well and call it a day. You know, it's fun. It's a fine show, I think. I watched that first one. I loved it. Very 80s. A lot of 80s references for me. Uncle Grandpa's on this list. I kind of remember that show. I watched some of it. It's kind of awful. Although Pizza Steve did make me laugh. He's a slice of pizza, and they called him Pizza Steve. And he talked, and he had sunglasses. Ardent, Stargate Origins was about the daughter of the man who discovered the Stargates. Honestly, who gives a leaping F? Wild Man Beyond, thoughts on Stranger Things ending? I bailed on Stranger Things in season 3. I liked the first season a lot. Second season, I was like, okay, but it already started to wear on me. I watched the opening of the third season, and I was like, what? And then I got discouraged and never came back. So, you know, they have to end Stranger Things because the kids have gotten too old. they're all, it's another one of these situations where the show is such a hit, but everybody's jumping ship to start their movie career. So probably should only went one season. Really, would have been a great one season deal, but nah. I think that's definitely overstayed its welcome. And now, like, one of the actors has made a big deal about coming out as gay. Like, who cares, dude? Who cares really now? That's not a thing anymore. Just you're fine. Everybody's fine with it. Just be in the show. Bleach Demon, your thoughts on the adventures of Briscoe County Jr.? Well, now you've hit on a topic I could talk about. Wait a minute, which one was Briscoe County Jr.? Is that Bruce Campbell, or am I conflating that with Sheriff Lobo? Oh, Briscoe County Jr. Which one was that? And why is it on this list? The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. I forget which one that was. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, that was the Western one with Bruce Campbell. Right. It was. I'll tell you all the problems with the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. and all the Bruce Campbell TV shows. They were good enough to watch, but they weren't good enough that you wouldn't leave right in the middle of the episode and be fine with it. That was the problem. It just wasn't good enough. It couldn't make up of its mind whether or not it was a comedy or an action show or a drama. Hot Chicks didn't hurt it. It kind of just was indecisive creatively. So, and thus your joke lands. Ardent, here's a terrible would you rather: Hellboy rebooted again or another Ocean's movie? I don't know, maybe Hellboy rebooted with Mike Mignola actually directing it? Bleach Demon, Bruce Campbell. All right, it was Bruce Campbell. Yeah, it was same for that and the show, the spin-off show from Xena that he did as the thief, and then there's one other show he did. I can't remember, but yeah, poor Bruce Campbell. One of his best TV shows, other than the Evil Dead show, which was pretty awesome. Burn Notice. He was great in that. I liked him in Burn Notice. It was a decent show. JC loved this whole show when I was a kid. It's not a bad show. It's just I couldn't get invested in it. I would literally be watching Briscoe County Jr. and somebody would call me or say, hey, you want to go somewhere? I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'd just turn off the TV and go because I had no... I just couldn't invest in the show. It just wasn't good enough. I made jokes about it at the time. Jack of all trades, that was the other one. That one is my favorite, I think, out of those. It's just like they kept putting them in shows and they were good and they were fun, but they were just missing something a little more, you know? I don't know. Maybe it was the budgets weren't very good. Ardent, Mignola directing makes a big difference. Yeah, if he can direct. I don't even know if he can. Be great to have him. I mean, he's working on this Doom of Gotham. I think he co-wrote the script, or maybe they just gave him credit, and that looks great. Looks really good. But, it doesn't always work out when the comic book guys direct a movie. Right, Frank Miller? I like Frank Miller, though. I think, it's tough to direct a movie. That's all there is to it. It's tough. You get pulled in 17 different directions. You got to deal with the studio and the stars. It sucks being in charge. Ardent, what was the one with John Delancey, the inventor? I don't remember. Wildman Beyond. Both Stranger Things and Cobra Kai has a rivalry, and They're both ending. I would love to see an animated crossover movie. With those two properties, nah. Nah, I wouldn't want to see that. I think they're too different. I like both shows to some degree. I like Cobra Kai better now. Initially, I loved Stranger Things. That first season's great. It goes down real fast for me. Mostly because after a while they're just throwing 80s things in there. It's just like and David Arbar does not help things by saying stuff. Annoys me. I mean, I guess you could maybe as a comic book you could do a crossover, do like a whole 80s crossover would be fun if you had the rights to the characters. One shot maybe. Ardent, yeah, Mignola has an eye for 20s, 30s era. Maybe give him a Spider-Man noir? Maybe. Ardent, sweep the Demigorgon? Ha! What could Mignola direct? Well, he could direct a Hellboy. He could set it in the 20s because Hellboy was around. I think he was, right? When does he show up? Oh, no, he doesn't show up till like World War II. Or you could do... I don't know. I'm sure he'd come up with something. Mignola's a pretty creative guy. He's the kind of guy I could see. You give him something to do. Like if he had worked on that Del Toro movie, which was a remake, that last one with Bradley Cooper. It took place in the carnival. Looked cool as hell, but I hear it's a mess. Something like that. Ardent. OG Shazam with Mignola directing? Maybe. That's pretty OG for Shazam even. Some in the 20s, like, you know, you could do a bootlegger, call it Cthulhu kind of thing, you know. My associates at Silent Devil did Dracula versus King Arthur. Their sequel series, which never got finished, was Dracula versus Capone. Something like that would be good. I think it could work. What else do I want to do? Well, let's go over what's going on in the trades. The big thing was, it's already off the front of the trades, it seems, is Alec Baldwin, which I covered for Clownfish TV in a small article. Wild Man Beyond. Do you think cop shows are boring now? We need shows like Miami Vice again or Hunter. Oh boy, I go further back than that, my friend. When I was a kid, I used to watch Kojak. And Kojak had real, well, not real, but it was bloody. When they shot a guy, it was like... and, I mean, it was 70s effects, but they had blood packs, and they rewrote the rules of television specifically because of a bloody Kojak episode that, I don't know, people got their panties in a bunch over. And I used to watch that. I was like, you know, like 8 watching Kojak. Who loves you, baby? So Miami Vice, it's okay. Hunter, but Kojak, my shows were Kojak. What else? Hill Street Blues to a small degree. Early SVU. Hawk, Arden says. Oh, God. What else? There was a bunch of 70 shows. The Rockford Files was one of my absolute favorites. Technically not a cop show, but right in there. These were when mysteries and cop shows were the thing. McCloud was a thing. The pitch on that show was, Cowboys meets, Western meets cop show. Ardent. Kojak was my nickname when I was a baby. Born bald. Oh, interesting. Telly Savalas was very good. What else? Kojak. It's a bunch of... Everybody was doing detective shows back then. Hawaii Five-0. The original Hawaii Five-0 was awesome. Heart to Heart. I used to watch it, but I didn't think it was awesome. Carter. The new Miami Vice looks mid-tier. I'm sure it is. Look, the original Miami Vice was not that great. A couple episodes were kind of above board. Above what, I mean, when Michael Mann directed, hose down the streets and direct an episode. But G. Gordon Liddy was in an episode. Columbo was decent. Wild Man Beyond. Love Kojak, especially the original Equalizer. I love that as well. Screw Queen Latifah and Denzel. I like Denzel. I think Queen Latifah is completely miscast. She should not be the Equalizer. She's not in any kind of shape to take down bad guys. I don't believe that for an instant. I would never believe it. They should have given her a different character. It makes zero sense to me. Columbo. Oh, Simon. Simon and Simon was fun, but kind of a dated show. Yeah. Even Magnum PI was okay. It wasn't great, but it was all right. Now they got a new one that looks way too serious for the time. But the 70s cop shows where Barnaby Jones was one. That one wasn't good, but, you know, they'd always cut to the stock footage of a car going off a cliff at some point. But, yeah, I mean, after they neutered 70s cop shows, it wasn't as great. Wild Man Beyond, don't forget Knight Rider. Ardent, Queen Latifah is in great shape to be used as a melee weapon by the real Equalizer. Well, the thing I liked about the original Equalizer was he was old, right? He was like, I think he was from World War One. On Robert Cole, the Equalizer, and so he was retired. Like Denzel works because he's older, but he doesn't look that old. He didn't look nearly as old as the actor who played Robert Bacall. Ardent Knight Rider. Damn, that's a good vintage. Knight Rider. I don't know. I got pretty sick of Knight Rider. I mean, I used to watch shows like BJ and the Bear and stuff like that because that was big too. That was like this weird genre of trucker culture, because BJ or Smokey and the Bandit was big, and so they were trying to bring it to TV. So BJ and the Bear. Bear was a monkey, by the way. So it was a guy who was a trucker named BJ, and then his sidekick was a monkey named Bear. And then they, I don't know, drove a truck and solved mysteries. Everybody solved mysteries back in the 70s, by the way. It's all we ever did. Wild Man Beyond. Equalizer was the original Expendable. Not too old for that, for S. Yeah. Yep. Wild Man. The original Equalizer's name was Edward Woodward. That was the actor, right? Robert Bacall was the character name, and Ed Woodward was the actor, right? I think that's the way it went. Ardent. Smokey and the Bandit was so much fun. Yes. Yes, it was. Jackie Gleason was awesome. Yes, he was. Especially when it was Smokey is the Bandit, where he plays he plays all the roles. So that's when Hollywood was fun, because you had guys like Jackie Gleason, Wildman. Yes, that was his real name, right? You had guys like Jackie Gleason, who was from the old days where they killed themselves trying to make a TV show. Now they were finally rich and doing it half for the money, but also half for fun, and so they could relax more. Now you got guys, I don't know, it's just they're so ruthless about their career now. They just jump from thing to thing, and everything's so serious and designed to, I don't know, keep everybody looking good, when you got to have characters that don't look good and can be the bad guys but not be too slick. It's just, I don't know. Television today is just an absolute mess in a lot of ways, and the movies especially. But getting back to Alec Baldwin, who's not even on the front page anymore. Wow, that was quick. So Alec Baldwin, the chickens are coming home to roost, I think, for him. He is ardent. No one's having a good time anymore. Yeah. Bleach Demon. How I wish Kolchak the Night Stalker had a second season. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was a great show. Great show. That's something they could revamp. If they got a really good, they need good writers. They just don't have any. Wildman. The problem with bad guys in movies and TV shows, they make them too sympathetic. I don't know. There's this idea in leftist circles that there is no good, there is no bad, and I think that's part of the problem. The idea that there really are no good or bad guys. So I think you definitely have a point, but they're not very nuanced. And I think the main problem is the heroes are, they're not good enough. They're not willing to be really good. Probably the only hero, and you could see that in the box office returns recently, that is still pretty, I'll just say pure, is Peter Parker's Spider-Man, the current incarnation of Spider-Man. The Tom Holland Spider-Man is a character who's, I don't think he's done really a single thing other than that initial mistake in his origin that makes him who he is. That he doesn't cheat. He's a nice guy. He doesn't lie. Like, he's really a hero. He's really heroic, and not just being Spider-Man, but just being a good person. And it really comes out in the performance and the screenplay and the story a lot of times. Wildman. I want to see a Rambo prequel series. I don't know, man. I think I'm done with Rambo. I really loved First Blood. And then I don't know. It just got out of hand. I think it's over. Ardent. Ooh, a Rambo prequel? Yeah, please. I think you could come up with a new guy. There's plenty of guys you can come up with and just start something new. We don't need Rambo. New guys. I say new guys. But will they? Probably not. Probably not. There's plenty of veterans out there you could do a show about. Ardent, if they made prequel series as serious as they made First Blood movie, they wouldn't. I don't think they would. Wildman, the world is getting drained with superheroes. I want old school action heroes again, like John Wick or Rambo. I just want good stories. I don't mind the superheroes when they're good. They were good in Phase 1 for the most part. Decent enough that they were watchable. But, there is stuff that's out there. It's just kind of getting passed by that looks decent. Wildman, have you seen Reacher? He is a throwback to heroes like Rambo. Yeah, Reacher was really good. I thought that first season they finally got an actor who's the right size. No slam against Tom Cruise. He just shouldn't have been playing Reacher. Reacher is good. I would like to see more of that. They're definitely doing a season 2. I'd like to see a Reacher movie with, I think it's Alan Rickson. Rickson is his name, something like that. He's good. He's good in the role. Super gigantic guy who's super smart and a good detective. But you look at stuff that comes out. Look at this infinity pool still. This sums up Hollywood today. It's just decadent and pretentious and stupid. I mean, it just looks terrible. That whole still looks terrible. What is this? It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Who would look at this and go, ooh, I got to see that. Ooh, let me see Infinity Pool. Whoa. It's like, what is that? It's like they're wearing masks. Their faces are beat up. What is this? It's a deranged critique of Western decadence. I'm out. I'm out. You're boring me. I read half a sentence and you bored me. Ardent Richson, I think. Wildman, I wouldn't mind a Rambo Reacher crossover. It's like, you're big on the crossovers today. I mean, crossovers could be great if they're correct. Like the comics did some cool crossovers. The guys at Dynamite crossed over Ash with Darkman and one other thing, I forget. And that was fun. So it's possible. One of my favorite crossovers was RoboCop and Terminator in the comics that Frank Miller wrote. and it tied it all in together very well. Um, RoboCop becomes the reason that uh, Skynet becomes sentient. Ardent, want to write a hospitaller screenplay. Lots of manly men, good godly gore fest. Hospitaller? Hospitaller. I don't think I know that one, Arden. Um, yeah, I mean, I just want to see something good. You know, somebody, I see Michael J. Fox in the headlines. Somebody the other day mentioned The Frighteners, which is a good movie if you haven't seen it. That was Robert Zemeckis, Michael J. Fox in The Frighteners, kind of like a one-man Ghostbusters, and kind of a little bit dark, a little bit darker than Zemeckis movie. Ardent, Batman versus Predator was good. Yeah, that would be a good movie. That would be a fun movie. Batman versus Predator. Sure, could totally see that. The Hospitallers were pilgrim protectors during the Crusades. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be cool. That could be cool. Here's more on Infinity Pool. I don't know why they're doing this. It's Cronenberg's son doing an NC-17 pick. It just sounds like, oh, I'm going to outrage people. Here I am outraging people. Bleach Demon. As milquetoast as they are, I would kind of like to see a few 1930s, 40s old school westerns. Something where the characters aren't filled with angst and drama. Yeah, that would be good. I'm always up for a western, quite frankly. What was the last good one I saw? Old Henry. It's really good. It's really good. Is there another one? Can't think. Old Henry was spot on, though, if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I just would like to see Ardent Cronenberger? Yeah. Did I say that? Or you make it a joke? It's Cronenberg's son, yeah. But I would like to just see more fun movies. I would like to see a movie, like even a Western, right? Guy goes into town, maybe he's a gunfighter, or he's the hero, whatever. Like, you know, there's some serious points, but he's also having fun. You know, there's some light moments, and it's kind of a fun movie where the good guy wins and the bad guys lose, and, you know, some fun stuff happens. A Million Days to Die in the West. That was pretty fun. Bleach Demon. Old Henry was fantastic. Set design really made me happy. Yeah, it was just spot on. Ardent, just joking. Oh, okay. Yeah, nothing here about Alec Baldwin either. But Alec Baldwin is possibly facing some time, I contend, mainly because he wouldn't shut up and went on TV. Ardent, Guinness was a good Western. Didn't realize that was a Western. Guinness? Or Gunless. I read it wrong. Gunless was a good Western. I haven't seen that. I read it. Guinness. First I thought, Alec Guinness was in a Western. Then I thought, Guinness Beer had sponsored a Western? That would be pretty funny, actually. Guinness Beer sponsors a Western, and all the gunfighters are drunk every time they get into a shootout. They just keep missing each other. Ardent. Yep. Paul Gross. Oh, Bleach Demon. Ardent with Paul Gross. I had to see that one. But yeah, there's just nothing out. Everybody's on their woke kick, trying to do everything woke. It's not a lot to look forward to. You know, you got the Arrowverse ending. Race bent Robin, anybody in the CW? I don't know how that's still a thing. Ardent, LOL. I want an Irish immigrant Western sponsored by Guinness. Yeah, I think it could work. Man, these guys spend a lot of the movie drinking. I know. When are they going to shoot each other? I don't know. They're still drinking. Yeah, there's just not a lot to look forward to yet. But Ant-Man, they have projections. Shadow the Raven is here. Hi, all. I'm late to the party. Yes, you are. So, Quantum Mania, they're saying, is not going to do well, I don't think. According to Box Office Pro, Ant-Man 3 is expected to rake in $96 million and $131 million over opening weekend domestically, while making between $249 million and $347 million as domestic box office total. Seems a little low, but yep. Ardent, hello, Carl. Oh, right, that's Carl. And hi, Ardent. But I think Ant-Man 3 could surprise people because it will open in China, as far as I know. I mean, the other movies are opening in China, so this will, Wakanda Forever is going to open in China after it's already been out. And I'm not sure how they're going to market it to the Chinese because they missed a bunch of Marvel movies. So, I don't know. Are they going to be lost? This one, though, they saw, I believe, both other movies were in China. So, that was before the Chinese said, screw you. Ardent, screw you, Seamus. I'm calling you out. Seamus, let me finish this pint. Yeah, exactly. So I think this one, they can go right back into it. So it'll probably do super well in China. I don't think it has any anti-China bent to it. And as far as the racist tendencies of Chinese culture seem to go, the bad guy is black. So maybe they'll be fine with that. I don't know. Bleach Demon, potato slingers of the Old West. Ardent, Lamau Bleach. I'll fight you, O'Grady, just as soon as we're finished drinking. Cut to next day. Did those guys ever fight? Nah, they're friends now. They're good friends now. They're not going to shoot each other and just keep drinking. It would be a fun movie. Captain Marvel 2, Monica Rambeau. I think they're going to push Black Captain America. I think they're going to push that hard and drop Brie Larson. I don't know why they didn't just go with Black Captain America. She was in the comics in the 80s. I remember reading her. Ardent, those O'Grady's are bastards. I don't know why they didn't just cast her. They could have just done an origin story with Captain Marvel and forgot about Carol Danvers because she already existed. But now they got to retrofit her, I guess. I mean, it's weird. It's so weird what they do at Marvel and DC and these woke idiots. I don't. I mean, on some level, I've done deep dives into leftist thought, and I do understand the ideology behind it, but I just don't understand the people who sign on for it, and they don't understand it, apparently. They're just like fine with it. They're just like, hooray! They're so weak. They're so weak and weird. You know? Ewan McGregor reignites Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 hopes with new comments. Come on. Seriously? Obi-Wan Kenobi 2, Season 2? I think you're done, man. I think that show is done. The rumor was they were trying to pass it off to, surprise, surprise, a black character no one heard of. I don't know why. People love this character and love him in the role, but this is what they do. Ardent, deep dives into leftist thought. Is that like diving into the shallow end of the pool? Yeah, kind of. Man, because when you listen to James Lindsay's videos and you hear the thought process that all goes into it, it's so messed up, you know? It's so... And on the one hand, it makes this weird kind of logic, but then on the other hand, it's just so messed up. and you just wonder, why would anyone say yes? You know, it's just so weird. This is the direct, by the way. I just started using this. And then you've got, I don't know, Madam Web coming up, and Agatha Harkness. I just don't get why they're developing these things. These are not characters, in my view, that anyone cares about. Least alone Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel. I mean, even if you had done Captain Marvel the right way, I would have been like, that character hasn't been around since the 70s. What are you doing? Doesn't make any sense. But that's Disney these days. They didn't lose billions of dollars for nothing. And here's Screen Rant, if you really want to. Speaking of deep dives into leftist thought, they're making a Tron 3. A Tron 3? Did you see Tron 2? You saw it, right? I mean, you kind of have to, you know, if you want to stop this movie, maybe just force all the people trying to do a Tron 3 to watch Tron 2. That should cure them of it. They should walk out of there going, oof, yeah, no. Bleach Demon, the MCU has gone full Hindenburg, I'll say. So has Star Wars. And people are all getting psyched for The Mandalorian again, and I'm just sitting by the sidelines going, no thank you. I don't care how good it is. I'm not going to support this. You're gonna support this for the crumbs of goodness they're going to give you? No. Shut it down. Don't support it. Don't support corporate horror, sci-fi, superheroes. Don't support any of this corporate stuff. Make them beg you. Make them give you everything. Because you can. If they don't have the viewers, they will. Carl, Tron 3 has. Wildman, have you seen Megan? I have not. I hear good things. I kind of want to see it. They've already got Megan 2 in the works, so, which I'm not surprised. Yeah, here it is. Stranger Things' worst death trend means Will needs to live in season 5. It's like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're saying, Screen Rant. Still talking about Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley won't rule out a Star Wars franchise return, everybody. Carl, Tron 3 has Leto in it, so it's not for me. Is it for anybody? Carl, if Leto's in it, is it for anybody other than Leto? Wildman, the movie was a mixture of Chucky and Deadly Friend. Ardent, I can't believe they're doing an Agatha Harkness series and not doing a Squirrel Girl. Yeah, if you're going to bother to dig up Agatha Harkness, at least do Squirrel Girl. Yeah, they were halfway on the way to doing it. They had the actress. Who did she piss off? Just do the damn show. It would have been woke as F, but I mean, I expect Agatha Harkness to be woke as F. I expect everything to be woke as F coming out of Disney. Carl, true, LOL. It's like, if you're going to do that, you might as well go full woke. Never go full woke. Never go full woke-tard. These people just, every move they make, I just go, what? What the, why? You know? Why do you do this? Canceled Vampire Academy show will seek new home, promises TVD curator. I wouldn't bother. Wildman, Stranger Things gets on my nerves with sacrificial deaths. That is a trend. I'm getting tired of every movie and series these days. Well, there is something to be said for the heroes sacrificing themselves for the greater good. It's like the ultimate thing. It's also a trend in the whole Game of Thrones things. They're trying to throw you off and trying to kill people to make you think, well, but it's also a rookie move. Screenwriting. I mean, that's, if you read rookie screenwriters, a lot of times they'll just kill people because it's a big thing and it feels like, oh, I've done something. I've killed a character. Aren't I great? Um, there needs to be a reason, and especially for TV, it's just so unnecessary. This was my biggest problem with The Sopranos, right? The Sopranos, God, I bailed on The Sopranos. I think in the fourth season because I was it had become so self-important, so bloated. I just the last good episode for me was probably the Pine Barrens episode, and everything after that was just kind of like, man, can you just do cool episodes? They kind of just, I don't know, they get full of themselves. The actors want to do stuff. Everybody wants to do stuff. You need to maintain a creative vision. So, for me, I'm writing the Pineys. I write each book like an episode of a TV show. And, if they ever come to me and say, oh, we want to do a Pineys TV show, I'll have it in my contract. Here's what you do. You take the books and you turn them exactly into the TV show. Oh, we could change them around. No, you didn't hear what I said. You take the books and you just turn them into the TV show. That's it. That's it. That's all you'll have to do. Just read the books, turn it into a script, and just shoot it. That's it. You don't have to change it. You don't have to make it better. Just do the books as they're written. That's what I would say. That would be the entirety of my instructions if I wasn't in it. If I had to sell for, I don't know, some reason, was too poor to live or something, desperately dying somewhere, needing cash, I don't know. Yeah, these guys, they've got these grandiose things, and in their defense, it is really hard to get a show. It's really hard to pitch a show. And so what ends up happening is you end up pitching a show where, like, everything happens in the first season or the first episode. And the studio says, wow, this is great, yeah. Because they assume everything after it will be even better. Because that's the assumption you make as a viewer, right? You watch some amazing pilot, you're like, oh, wow, this was amazing. I can't wait for the next episode. The problem is, if you're writing, say, zombies, Walking Dead, not to get too deep into that lore, but if you're writing zombies, one of the problems is the best part of a zombie movie usually is when the outbreak happens, right? Because you get to see the contrast between, oh, here's normal times, and here's everybody running crazy when the zombies come, and now we're transitioning into post-apocalyptic zombie world. That's part of the fun. So to do that right out the gate, you're giving away the store. So if you were to really do a zombie show the right way, in my view, and The Walking Dead, to its credit, kind of did it the right way. Kirkman did it the right way because you get a little bit of before the zombies, and then Rick is in a coma and wakes up. Spoilers if you haven't seen that. And then you go right in the zombie world, and it's, he has to catch up. And that's a great device to get into it, but you can't give away the store. But the people in the studio just don't have the vision anymore to go, I could see more of this. I could see this building to something. You have to start low, relatively low. Like, the show has to be good, but you have to start low. You have to start down here and then build up. But they don't let things build anymore. Wild Man, I get it, but the trend is getting tiring. Just let the heroes live another day again for once. Yeah, I say let them all live. Carl, sarcasm. Oh, come on. We all know woke writers always improve the material. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Tron 3 is an absolute... Why? What are you going to do Tron 3? Tron was a movie of its time. Yeah, it's not going to work. I don't think. Talk about, like, beating a dead franchise right there. Tron. Don't know why you would do it. So, that's Screen Rant for you. And that's about it for me, I think. I think I got to start to wrap up here. It's just the state of movies. Stay to movies. Did you guys watch Wednesday, by the way? I watched it. If you saw my video, you know my thoughts on it. It's not bad. Jenna Ortega kind of just makes the whole show. Wildman, I never cared for Walking Dead. That's just me. It's not great. The first season's the best season, and it just goes downhill from there. And that's why I think it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's just, it promises too much, and then it just becomes dreary and kind of a drag. The comic, it's a good example, too, of a TV show that you can't capture that comic. It's the comic, the reason I think The Walking Dead was such a success is because people wanted a zombie show badly, and they got it, and that was it. But Ardent, Stormy says she likes Wednesday. I don't hate it. I think it's well done. I just feel like it's not the Addams Family. I wish it was, because I love the Addams Family. I love the old school Addams Family. I love it to be fun, and it's too much of Buffy and Harry Potter combined. Wildman, the problem with shows and movies nowadays is that they're too busy trying to win awards and being too artsy-fartsy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're trying to win awards anymore because award shows are so dead. They are trying to be artsy-fartsy, but their version of artsy-fartsy is like mostly woke and mostly like, let's push the boundaries just to push them because we have to. It's like this whole idea of subverting your expectations, right? So you want surprises, but you don't want to just surprise people just to say, ha ha, I surprised you, right? So if you're watching a movie about, I don't know, star-crossed lovers who escape gangsters and they're driving across the country, and then, I don't know, like 70 minutes in, they drive off a cliff and both die. Yeah, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I didn't see that happening. You subverted my expectations, all right, but I think you also ruined the movie. Because now I'm horrified, and now I have no ending for a movie. I don't think they have any finesse, and this is what it all comes back to writing. They can't write anything. Ardent, I liked Reedus. Can't remember who played Merrill. Oh, which one was Merrill? I forget. I liked Shane. I thought Shane was good. When Shane died, I think the show was mostly over. And I think they ruined the Norman Reedus character. He was created for the show, but in the end, they ended up ruining him because they should have kept him. They should have kept him the way he was, and they had this weird character arc where he gets nicer and nicer, and nah. I wanted him to stay that way. I wanted him to get worse. That to me would have been a better character arc for him, where, he just, every time he lets his guard down, someone dies, and then he just gets harder and harder and harder and more ruthless. And then he reaches the point where he's like leaving people to die because that's the better move from a safety standpoint. And they're just like, how can you let these people die? And he's just like, do you want to survive or not? I got us this far. Shut the F up. He also was advertised as this like borderline racist guy, and then they undid all that, and it was weird. It was like he was edgier with that. Not that I would want a character to be that way, but that was his character, and then it just sort of disappears. And it's weird. But it never should have been there in the first place because he's a Southern guy. They instantly made him racist. It was weird. His brother, though, Michael Rooker, was great. I never thought they should. That was another guy they should have never got rid of. Carl, everyone is raving about The Last of Us at the Mo. It was good, but it's not amazing or anything. I am so waiting for them to introduce the other characters that, came out in Game 2 and ruined the whole franchise. That's a TV show to me. I'm just going to sit back and wait for the other shoe to drop, because I think that's coming. With House of the Dragon, I thought, maybe they might screw us just like they did with Game of Thrones. With Last of Us, I'm convinced they're going to go woke. Like hard. They're going to take that hard turn at some point and just go right into wokeness. Bleach Demon. I always get sidetracked when dialogue just goes off on a tangent into politics. It severely dates shows. Yeah, I do too, to a certain point. It depends. Like, once in a while it can work. If it's true. Like, if it's real, it has to be so spot on to make that work. It has to be so spot on it transcends both sides or all sides, and people just go, yeah. The only example I can kind of think of is there's this amazing episode, and I think I talked about this before, the Rockford Files, where Rockford spends the entire episode freeing this woman from a cult. Now, it's not that political, but it kind of is, because I think we can all agree that cults are bad. But the end of the episode is, it's months later, and he runs into the same woman in front of the courthouse on a completely different case, and she's already been roped into a second cult, and she's handing out flyers, and he realizes he can't help her. She's just one of those people who gets sucked into these things. He spent all this time getting her out of the cult, and here she is right back in the cult again. A completely different one, but same sort of thing. It was a great ending, great statement on that stuff, but that's rare. It's very rare to me. Wildman, what did you think of the new Willow series? I wouldn't touch it with Shemp's dick, as they said on the Howard Stern show. It's no way I'm going to watch that. I've heard all the shakeout of it. I'm not going to watch it. I don't have Disney Plus anyway. I would never give Disney my money ever again. Well, I gave it. I reluctantly came back to watch the Marvel movies, and now I'm fine with that, and I'm out. So, the Willow series looks woke as F. No interest in it. I mean, it's just more of the same. It's like, oh, here's a movie we could franchise and bring back, and people have fond memories of. Oh, and we're gonna woke it up and fill it full of rainbow characters, and oh, here's the gay romance you all been waiting for. Yeah, I was sitting in the theater back in the 80s going, oh, that's pretty good, but if only we had a gay romance in it. Oh. It's like everything's gay romance, gay romance, gay romance. It's not a big deal. It's been done before. Not interested. Wildman, I love the Creepshow series. That was good. Yeah, maybe a Creepshow series would be cool. Like a Tales from the Crypt. I love Tales from the Crypt. I would love to see them bring that back and do new stories. I like Twilight Zone, Creepshow, all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to. I felt like Jordan Peele directing the Twilight Zone again was miscast. Jordan Peele I like, but I think he's been another guy who's just been truncated down this path. It's like, this was one of the funniest guys on Comedy Central, and you do everything but comedy with him. What are you doing? Let him do a comedy. Even in that first movie he did, I don't know, the movie about the guy was dating a white girl, and I forget what it was called. There's this hilarious scene with his friend Rel, and Rel to me is not funny, but Jordan Peele made the scene freaking hilarious in a horror movie. It's like, why isn't this guy directing comedy after? Why didn't Jordan Peele direct House Party? Like, to me, he'd be the perfect guy to do it. But instead, he's directing Nope and all these like important movies that are they're gonna blow your mind. They're not blowing anybody's mind. They're kind of doing okay. They already got a Nope 2 in the works. Carl, I like the original Outer Limit series. Yep, that's a good one. Wild Man Beyond. Did you see Top Gun Maverick? I did. Because by law, I had to. It was too good of a movie to miss. It was great. Get Out. That is, thank you, Arden. Yeah, Get Out. Yeah, there's a hilarious scene in Get Out. Wild Man. It was Get Out, and I hate that movie. It's not bad. It's not great, though. Ardent finally saw Maverick last week. So good. Yeah, it's better than the original by a long stretch. And holy cow. Even the sound on that movie is fantastic. And Tom Cruise, Plays it right. Plays it like movie stars should. Thank you so much for seeing my movie. You're so great. I hope you'll go see Mission Impossible. That's the way you treat your audience. I'll go see Tom Cruise movies now. I mean, I got sick of Tom Cruise a long time ago, but now I'm warming up to him again because he's the last guy in Hollywood being nice to me. He appreciates my money. Does Jordan Peele appreciate my money? I don't think he said too many woke things, but I don't think Mindy Kaling appreciates my viewership of Velma. She insults me and insults wide swath of the fan base just by doing Velma. So I appreciate even if the movie wasn't that good, I would have went to go see it. I want to support people who at least appreciate me as an audience. That's why I try to appreciate my audience at all times. I had a guy buy my book on Saturday, and I thanked him. And then he said, "Oh, are you on Facebook?" I said, "Yes." And he found me, and he befriended me, and I thanked him on Facebook again for buying my book. Even though I didn't get the sale right away, and I thought, oh, no, he bought a used version of my book, and I'm not going to get any money. But then later, the sale came through, and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God I made something on Saturday. Saturday was a little slow. They're very nice. They're very nice. I promoted, so I'm not complaining, but I was like, oh, man. Because one group of people came up and talked about buying 2 sets of books, and then they didn't buy it, and I was like, oh, no, I could have made a big sale. But you got to appreciate your audience. They're your customer. Ardent, I want Swamp Fox series. Again, original starred Leslie Nielsen. Disney won't show for woke reasons now. Swamp Fox? I don't remember that show. Swamp Fox. I guess that was a serious show. That sounds old. Swamp Fox. What I want is something new. Again, just like if I took over DC, I would ban the old villains for 2 years. If I took over one of these studios, I would be like, give me new stuff. Forget all these revamps and franchises. We've done too many. Let's get away from that. Let's get to some new IPs. And then, maybe after a couple of years of new IPs, maybe bring something back. What would be cooler to me is you test the waters, right? Ardent, that's a deep cut, huh? It was a Revolutionary War story. Really? It sounds cool. Huh. I like that Fox TV show with the Headless Horseman. That was fun. That was totally an insane show, by the way. I forget what it was called, but it was nuts. But I would tell the studio, stop. Just do nothing but new stuff for a while. Develop some new IPs. And then if you want to bring somebody back, what we do is we test the waters by bringing back the character in a show with the purpose of maybe we'll do a pilot. Let's see how it tests showing up in a random show, right? Carl, I don't think Disney appreciates their audience. Look at what they've done to Star Wars. Absolutely. Ardent, Sleepy Hollow. That's it. Right? So, I don't know. Let's say you're Disney and you want to bring back Tron. Right? It'd be easy to have Tron appear in, I don't know, one of the Disney Plus series. I don't know, have one of the characters get sucked into the internet and meet Tron and then have this big surprise and then, oh, wow, Tron's in this universe too. Bleach, an idle thought. Could half of the problems of modern movies and TV come from the fact that the audience is treated as infants and in adult bodies? Yes. I think that's mostly because the people making these shows are that way. I think they're coddled. They're rich. They don't have any hardship in their lives, and they're very spoiled. I think there's that was the vibe I got in Southern California. They were incredibly spoiled, just obsessed. I had a big rant on it, by the way, today. I was talking about this TV show Shrinking. It's on Apple TV with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. And it's a show about Jason Segel being like a guy going through a midlife crisis. His wife's dead. He's he's a shrink, and he decides to get involved in his patients' lives in a major way, and it breaks all the rules, and he starts acting crazy, and everybody's telling him, no, you got to stop. No, but I'm helping people. And but like, he has no other problems outside of that. It's an existential crisis. He lives in Southern California in Pasadena. He's got a nice car. He's got a nice house. He's got a nice office. He's got a pool. He's just making all this money. I mean, he's rich. And like that aspect of it is not dealt with by the writers. That just is a given. This is his life. Yeah, like you. No, I couldn't afford to live in Southern California. I left Southern California. It's too expensive. I was living in a not a good apartment. And they just don't have any sense of what it's actually like to live. Like, they made all these shows during the pandemic. Nobody had a mask on. Nobody has a mask on in any of these shows. Why? Because they don't care. It's not bothering them. They're not wearing a mask if they don't want to. No. Oh, I have to wear a mask here? Well, you know who I am, right? Oh, okay. Oh, I got vaccinated, whatever. Sorry, I don't want to go down that hole. But their lives are insulated from all the hardship. And you could see it in their writing. They don't have to deal with the fact that eggs are $8 a dozen now. $8 a dozen. I can't eat eggs now. I can't even afford to eat eggs. I got a bunch in my fridge I'm saving for a special occasion, I guess, because they're so expensive now. I had to think about buying eggs. Never had to do that before. That used to be a cheap meal for me. Oh, I'll just make an omelet or something. Now it's like, oh my God, the luxury of eggs. These people aren't dealing with that. Where is that in these TV shows? Nowhere. Because these people are rich. They've never had to even think about that. It never comes up in conversation. It never comes up in their stories. I know, I'm going on a rant. They're rich. They are rich. They're rich in Southern California. Like, being rich here in South Jersey, or being rich in like Western Pennsylvania or Florida is pretty great. But being rich in Southern California, you're like rich. Like, to be rich in Southern California, you got to make way more money. You know what rent is in Southern California? You know what property taxes are in Southern California? It's a lot. It's a lot. This is a place where the restaurants charge you for the electricity. Sorry, I went on a rant. Carl, yeah, Bleach. Also, adult characters are written as if they're teenagers. That is true. Arden, $8. Yeah, $8. Carl, yeah, eggs have become expensive here in the UK too. It's ridiculous. Food is out of control. And it's really impacted me. Gas really impacted me. I was running around South Jersey doing my signings at the height of the holidays. It was killing me. I have a little car. It cost me $70 to gas up. It was a major expense for me. That was like an entire signing's worth of profit to fill up my gas tank. That should not be. I needed that money. I needed that money. And I just had to burn it all on gas so I could get around. And I don't even go anywhere. Understand, I have no life. All I do now is write, go on the internet, and sell my books. That's all I can afford to do. I can afford to go anywhere. I got nothing. So these guys write screenplays like, this week, John goes to the Bahamas for the weekend. It's like, dude, people don't do that. Not now. Yeah, I'm sure some people do that, but vacations for most people are kind of a thing you build up to. Maybe you go once a year, you got your 2 weeks off, you go on vacation, you come back, you take a few days. These people write like they live, and they're living the life. I saw guys living up in the hills. I went out and visited them. My God. The houses up there, they're insane. They're absolutely insane. They live. And look, I went up. This one guy I knew, he had a house in the hills. It was millions of dollars. It was a tiny house. It was a tiny house. It was one of those Troy McClure houses on a cliff. He had lemon trees below his balcony. and he just had money at the wazoo. But even he wasn't living in my house that I'm living in now is way bigger than the house he was living in. His felt like a trailer compared to my house in terms of size, but in terms of where it was up in the Hollywood Hills, oh, that was an expensive A house, and it's and you could tell a guy like him, he ain't gonna write about a guy who can't afford eggs. But that's the majority of your audience. That's the majority of your audience. The majority of your audience are people who don't live in California or New York. They don't live in major cities. They live out in the sticks. Their lives are boring. Maybe one of them or one of their relatives joins the service just to get a leg up and then comes back, maybe messed up. People have problems with medical stuff. They're constantly scrambling for money, especially now. That doesn't come up. When does that come up? In these screenplays, in these TV shows, they almost never come up unless they're writing, oh, this is the show about the two poor waitresses called Two Broke Girls. Oh, then we're going to all make jokes about how poor everybody is because we're going to slum it with the poors. They're not doing it in their regular ass stuff. They're just not doing it because they don't experience it. It doesn't come to their brain unless that's the whole premise of the show. Then they might do it. All these people are rich. That's the problem. That's why they act like infants, because they're coddled like infants. Look at Daniel Kibblesmith, right? The guy who created Snowflake and Safe Space. He was writing for The Atlantic, and they gave him a gig on Marvel Comics, launching his own comic like it was nothing. Like oh, okay. Hey, why don't you come work for us? Yeah, you can start your own comic. Do you know what people I know who are struggling to be comic creators would give for that opportunity? What they would do? What they would create just to have that opportunity? Oh my God. This guy, they just gave it to him. Yeah, that's why. That's why his stuff, in my view, this is my personal view, probably sucks. He didn't have to earn that, I don't think. They just gave it to him because his politics were right. He knew the right people. He's in the right realm. And that's been a problem for years. But now it's particularly bad. Sorry, I'm really ranting. I'm so angry. Carl, I have friends who live off-grid. Wish I had the money to buy some land and do the same. It's tough. It's living off the grid is not easy. You got to know stuff. You got to know how to get water and build things. I couldn't do it. Ardent, girlfriend's thinking about getting chickens in the spring. I might look at goats. Yeah, goats are easy. They just eat everything. You just can't. Don't bring them inside. Oh, they'll eat stuff. But they are fun. I like goats. Chickens are nasty. Chickens are nasty, and you have to be wary of rats. Be very wary of the rat situation with chickens. It's my neighbor has them. I don't know if he has any rats, but I worry now that he got them. I don't think he has that many. I think he has just enough to get some eggs going, but you can't keep chickens inside. No way. They are dirty, dirty creatures, and they are nasty. You don't cuddle with a chicken. Let me tell you. But if you got the space, absolutely. They're egg making machines. Ardent, LOL. I don't need to be psychic. I have a cleaver. What? I must have missed some of this. Well, if you have a cleaver, you can take care of the chickens that bother you. Again, you have to have the stones to be able to do that too, because cutting off a chicken's head, it just runs around and it's gross, and then it dies. It's so stupid. I mean, you're basically dealing with a little dinosaur. That's why you can't. Yeah, you gotta be careful with chickens for a lot of reasons. A lot of my relatives have had chickens. I don't think any of them do now. Does anybody still have chickens left? They had pigs. No, I don't think anybody has chickens. My neighbor does, and a few of my other neighbors have chickens. Like, it's a new hipster thing. But Yeah, and you got to be worried about local laws about chickens and all that kind of stuff. So, um, personally, yeah, I don't think I could do chickens right now. Nah, I don't have the money. I don't have the space. Little Joan would end up fighting the chickens. You know, you need. I'd be worried they'd freeze to death outside, but of course this winter, it's not really an issue. I'm sure those chickens are sweating it out in the coop these days in the middle of January. But sorry, I got way into ranty mode there. But my overall point is, you've got a lot of rich people, and they're not bad people necessarily. They just haven't had hardship in their lives, so they just don't know, and no one's there to go, hey, how does this guy pay for all this? Right? Like, someone should be saying that at the studio. Someone at the producer level should be looking at these guys and going, hey, I read your script. It holds together, but how's this guy pay for all this? How's this guy drop what he's doing to go cross country to find his true love? Oh, I didn't think of that. That's what their response would probably be. Like, that just wouldn't be an issue. Well, he probably has the money. No. How much money does this guy make a year? I bet they couldn't answer. You know, Carl, my off-grid friends have a well, solar power, etc. Yeah, you need all that stuff. I mean, that's the whole point of being off the grid, right? You got to be self-sufficient. I'm too much in the middle of suburbs of New Jersey for that. It would be weird if I was self-sufficient. My house is in the wrong place for solar panels, and we don't have well water here. We have city water. My folks down on the farm, they have a well, and in the state of New Jersey, you need this big machine in your basement to filter all the well water, and that has to be serviced. But they have the space if they wanted chickens, but they don't. They're older. They don't want to take care of them. Bleach Demon, dealt with chickens for years and sheep. I'll take chickens instead. Really? I never had sheep. Never had chickens, but at least my relatives did. They never had sheep. Huh. Sheep are nasty, huh? I could see it. They like to butt you. I saw a video the other day. Man, a guy turned his back on, I guess it was the ram, or one of the sheep, just headbutted him right out of the corral. Hit him so hard. Ardent, I'd rather raise musk ox. Musk ox. I guess they stink because they call them that, right? I don't know, man. Do they have milk? The ox? Or you're butchering them for their meat? Oh, God. I can't imagine butchering an animal. It's a little much for me. You got to get past the... I mean, I guess if I had to do it, I could do it. It's not like I haven't filleted a fish or something, but butchering it like a real animal, like a mammal, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I know the steps involved. I've seen the videos on it. I wanted to at least know the basics if I ever got stuck out in the wild, but yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I always thought I was very pampered being a suburbanite. But man, compared to me, some of these people, they are. But at least, like, if you know to do the research, if you know, like, okay, this guy's going out to the woods himself. He's not going to pick up squirrels and bite their heads off and just eat them. It's like you do the research. You dig deep and you read a book or you go on the internet or whatever. It's like these guys never do that. They never dig down deep. They get a concept. Like, shrinking isn't the worst concept I ever heard, but it could be better. It could be better. I said so as much in my video. Like, if you took the money out of it, it might have been a better show. I'm working on a very similar concept for the screenplay for my client. It's kind of similar. It's about a guy who helps people, and it's like, yeah, one of the things I think about is the money. I mean, maybe it's because my personal situation, but I think that resonates more with more people when I talk about it than it would not having those issues, right? I mean, everybody's biased in their own way, but man, these guys from Southern California, to me, they just write the same things over and over again. Um, Ardent stream death? What? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Bleach. Sheep require a lot of health care and shearing, plus all the nasty junk that gets in their rear wall. Ugh. God. Yeah. Joan is, that reminds me that Joan needs a bad grooming. Like her hair is very long. Yeah, she needs a shearing. That's where we're going on Tuesday. All right. It's 9:00. I should wrap. So, let's, and sheep just panic and plow through fences. Yeah, never had sheep. Yeah, I don't know. You need a loom, right? If you're going to have sheep, that would be the point, to shear them and harvest their wool, and I guess milk. I guess you get the milk from sheep. Do you get sheep milk? Do people drink sheep milk? I guess they would, right? To me, like, the chicken's the best option, only because I really do love chicken, and I do love me some eggs. Lamb, I can kind of take or leave. And that's a much bigger animal. And I don't feel bad about killing a chicken, quite frankly. To me, chickens have about as much personality as crabs. I don't like crab as a rule, but if I have to kill a crab, I feel like it's killing an insect, because they're nasty little creatures that'll bite you. Anyhow, have a good night. Good night to you, Arden. Bleach, no sheep milk. Oh, okay. Arden, sheep's milk makes Parmesan? No, not according to Bleach Demon, who had sheep. Huh. You can't have goat's milk, though. That's good. The goat cheese is delicious. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'd be all about the chickens, because I'd be okay with killing them. Bleach, I would rather enjoy a lighthearted TV show about a down-on-his-luck guy who's trying to make it big for the love of his life, pinching every penny to romance. Yeah, that's a good premise. I like that. I liked My Cousin Earl. I thought that was a decent show. I loved the premise for it. And it was great to see the flashbacks of Earl when he was bad. And then he was trying to do good things because he had won the lottery, and it was fun. It was a fun show. It was My Cousin Earl, or My Friend Earl, or something. Ardent, that's me right now, Bleach. Yeah, pinch those pennies. It's the time to pinch pennies. All right, so I'm going to wrap it here. I'm going to see what trouble Joan's gotten into. Don't forget, next week I will probably be at least a few hours later with the stream, because Blue Rascal Distillery is going from 4 to 6, and I don't know, if it goes real well, I might stay late. So I probably won't get home till later, but we'll see. I don't know, maybe it'll suck and I'll be here on time. I don't think so, though. I think that's going to be a good one for me. That's going to be a good one. My videos are up already. I'm way ahead today on my videos. So I hope you tune in and check out the Piney podcast. That's up. A couple of cool movie trailers things and a news blast. Another Hollywoke hot take tomorrow. We'll see what fresh hell Tinseltown awaits. Ardent, later. All rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Carl, okay, take care all. And Bleach, cheers all. Cheers to you. Carter, if you're still here, cheers to you as well. And we'll see you in the next one.